Hello and welcome to Government and Politics at Bullerswood Sixth Form. I'm really pleased you're considering studying your A-levels with us, and I hope that this brief presentation provides you with a greater understanding of what being a student of Government and Politics at Bullerswood involves. Who is Government and Politics suitable for? Ideally, you should be someone who is interested and enthusiastic about current affairs. You enjoy discussing the latest political developments. You care about democracy and how the political system in this country works. You're also interested in elections, citizens' rights, political parties. You are interested in the philosophical ideas that underpin and shape society today, such as liberal ideas, socialist ideas. You're someone who enjoys writing and are happy spending lengths of time reading. And perhaps most importantly, you are interested in living the subject. So, what exactly do you mean by living the subject? In politics, this involves embracing social media and media, the news, to really get those examples of what is happening in politics today. Firstly, then, we recommend reading quality newspapers regularly. It's useful to look at papers from across the political spectrum, for example, The Guardian, which is more of a left leaning paper, plus The Times, which is more of a right wing paper. Secondly, we recommend that you sign up to email updates from news outlets. Some of these are available for free for you, like the New York Times and the BBC. Others, such as The Spectator, are available for a subscription fee. Thirdly, political social media is a really good way to stay informed of the latest political developments. So we would recommend following political commentators on social media, such as Twitter. Fourthly, there are a wealth of political television programs that you could watch, such as The Andrew Marr Show, Peston on ITV, Question Time. Fifthly, radio shows and podcasts are another place where you can really get a sense of political developments, such as the Today programme or Radio 5 Live Politics. Podcasts such as Brexit Cast, for example, is all things that you can listen to develop your political knowledge. And finally, various political dramas and films, both from the UK and the US, such as The West Wing or The Deal, which is about the relationship between Gordon Brown and Tony Blair, The Iron Lady, or The President's Men. There are a whole wealth of various dramas and films that you can watch to develop your understanding and really live the subject. So, what will you be studying for Government and Politics A-level? This course is made up of 3 units. Each of these units is assessed in exactly the same way, which means the type of exam question and the exam technique is exactly the same for all 3 papers. Firstly, Government and Politics of the UK. You'll start learning about this when you come to Bullerswood in Year 12 and will complete this course in the latter half of Year 12. Secondly, you will learn about the government and politics of the USA and comparative politics, which means comparing the USA with the UK. And finally, we will finish Year 13 with political ideologies such as liberalism, socialism, and conservatism. As I said, all 3 of these units are assessed in exactly the same way, which means for each exam you will have 3 9-mark questions, 1 source-based question, and 1 essay question. That's all. In terms of what we'll be studying for each of these modules, in UK Government and Politics, we learn about those subjects listed on the left-hand side: the Constitution, Parliament, Prime Minister, Supreme Court, how democracy works in this country, elections, parties, pressure groups, and civil rights. And you can see some of those images on the right illustrating the issues that you'll be learning about. For example, pressure groups who are protesting about climate change, which you can see in this image here. Whether or not the House of Lords, which is an undemocratic institution, needs reforming. Whether the Supreme Court, represented here by Lady Hale, the ex-president of the Supreme Court, has too much power in this country. the role of the Speaker of the House of Commons and whether the Commons itself is in need of reform. Minor or third parties in the UK, such as the Liberal Democrats and the Brexit Party, and their role in the political system. The relationship between the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, and of course, laws such as the Human Rights Act, which protect citizens' rights in this country, and whether or not we think citizens' rights are protected well enough. Those are some of the issues you'll be learning about as part of UK politics in Year 12. You will then move on to US and comparative politics. As you can see from the description over here, most of these units mirror those that you will have learned about in the UK section. For example, Constitution, Congress, President, Supreme Court, that mirrors the government of the UK that you will have learned about in Year 12. Democracy, election parties, and pressure groups, plus civil rights, mirrors what you have already learned about the UK, which means you are better prepared to learn and answer questions on comparative politics when you are comparing how the US and the UK are similar and different. Some of the things you'll be covering are shown here in these images then. We have pressure groups shown here and the notions about whether US civil rights are actually protected by the US Constitution pictured here. We have the Supreme Court shown in this picture here, and obviously protests going on in these images that you can see. We also look at the role of the president and his relationship with other branches of government, such as the state governments and also Congress and the Supreme Court. So these all illustrate various aspects of US government and politics that you'll be learning about in Year 12 and 13. We then move on to look at political ideologies, and this is the final unit you will learn about for your A-level. This unit focuses on 3 compulsory and 1 optional ideology. For each ideology, you will learn about its origins. So, for example, liberalism coming from the Enlightenment. You will learn about key thinkers within each ideology, some of whom are pictured here. So, for example, John Locke, a liberal thinker, Karl Marx, who wrote the Communist Manifesto with Friedrich Engels, feminist thinker over here, Betty Friedan. Interestingly, for our specification, she actually comes under the liberal section, but very much known as a feminist. And Ayn Rand here, who Donald Trump said is his favourite author. So we can see how we are already starting to make links with other aspects of the course when we learn about these political ideologies. With regard to the ideologies, we also learn about what they believe about human nature, society, the economy, the state and how it works and how much power it should have. And then we also identify the different types or strands within the ideology and tensions within the ideology, because not all of the key thinkers agree. And this is an area of much debate and discussion. That covers the 3 units you'll be learning about in Government and Politics A-level. Outside the classroom, we also offer a wealth of extracurricular opportunities. For example, we run mock general elections and mock referenda in line with national campaigns. We run events and assemblies for UK Parliament Week. We have a weekly debating society where students can take the lead in deciding what they want to discuss. We have annual trips to Parliament, including the UK Supreme Court. We run with the History Department a biannual trip to Washington, D.C. and New York. We have been involved in a number of debating and speaking competitions over the years, for example, debating at Imperial College London and being involved in the EU Mock Council, which was run by the British Council. And additionally, we have a range of guest speakers who come in to speak to students, and we strongly encourage students to attend university lectures and events relevant to their A-level. Here you can see one of our previous cohorts on one of our trips to the UK Parliament Education Centre. Where do our students go after Bullerswood? This is just to give you a sense of the various subjects and destinations of our leavers from 2019. So some of them, a couple of them went to Leeds University, one studied international history and politics, Hull University for PPE, LSE studies politics, Queen Mary's University of London, politics and international relations, Manchester University for American studies, Cardiff University following a gap year with a degree in politics there, and SOAS, or the London School of Oriental and African Studies, was another destination in 2019. So a really wide range of universities, gap years, and degree courses that students of government and politics at Bullerswood have chosen. In terms of our exam results and other subjects that you might be considering, really any subjects are compatible with politics. There's no set A levels that you should take with politics. There are a couple of subjects, however, in which there is an element of content overlap, which you might be interested in hearing about. So, those subjects are history, philosophy, particularly with regard to the political ideologies and the key thinkers that we learn, economics, and sociology. But again, any essay-based subject is useful because it is developing your writing skills. As I said, there's no right or wrong combination of A levels, though. In terms of our last set of results, we were deemed to be red hot on the ALPS thermometer with a 100% pass rate A star to C, and nearly a quarter of those being A star and A grades. So, the last thing for me to say is that I do hope that you will be joining us in September, and I very much look forward to meeting you in person then. Thank you very much for listening.